we're gonna make, I have my little cheat sheet right here though, but the spicy cream chicken. It's an amazing and yummy chicken with spicy cream marinade. So let's go ahead and get started. This only takes about 10 minutes to, I think, prepare. And I've got the ingredients here. So we've got powdered ginger, Korean sea salt, and you can use regular salt if you want, but I really like the Korean sea salt. This is Korean red pepper flakes called gochujang. Okay, and then right here we have the soy sauce, sesame oil, and we have the minced garlic. This is actually homemade minced garlic that my wife prepared. This right here is Korean gochujang. It's the spicy red pepper paste that we're going to use as part of the marinade. And you can use any kind of oil for the oil ingredient, but we're using canola oil from Costco actually. And I think I covered all the ingredients. Oh, actually one more. We've got sugar. So just make sure you have some type of white refined sugar, or if you want, you can actually substitute for a healthier option, honey. Honey is another option you can have as well. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and get started. So we have here actually 2 pounds of chicken, roughly 2 pounds of chicken. So just know that everything I say in terms of the ingredients, you can go ahead and do half of that if you want to do maybe just with 1 pound of chicken. Okay, so we're going to go ahead again with 2 pounds of chicken. We have 4 tablespoons of oil that we need. So we're going to go ahead and get 4 tablespoons of oil and put that right into a mixing bowl here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's 4 tablespoons of the oil. Put that off to the side there. And then we need to go ahead and get 3 tablespoons of the Korean red pepper paste, the gochujang. Again, this is the large container that we bought the red pepper paste because our family actually uses a lot. But here's a small little container that we're going to go ahead and use to just, if I can get the container off, or the lid off. But that's what it looks like. That's the consistency. It's kind of a thick paste. And we're going to go ahead and grab another spoon here. Let's get a clean spoon. And put in 3 tablespoons. So 1, 2, and 3. And as you can see, it's pretty thick. It's got a very thick consistency. Let me go ahead and put the top back on this. And now we're going to go ahead and get our next ingredient as I look down on my cheat sheet here, which is to have the Korean red chili powder, the gochujang. And so let's go ahead and grab that here. And for 2 pounds of chicken, we're going to go ahead and use roughly 2 teaspoons. And I'm just doing it with this little red spoon here. So 1 and 2. Okay, so that's the Korean red chili pepper, the gochujang. So I'll put that over here because we're done with that now. Now we're going to get 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. And sesame oil is a really important ingredient with a lot of Asian foods because it gives it that nice nutty Asian flavor. So let's go ahead and pour this in. So 1 and 2. So that is our 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. And then next, we're going to go ahead and get 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. So here's our soy sauce. And let's go ahead and pour out 1, 2, 3, and 4. And by the way, you're going to want to marinate this for at least 30 minutes, up to 2 hours. That'd even be better. But for us tonight, since we got a hungry family actually upstairs, we're going to just marinate for 30 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and do the cooking of the chicken. And then the next ingredient is the sugar. And again, you can use substitute with honey, but we're going to go ahead and use sugar in this case, and it's 3 tablespoons. So here's 1, 2, and 3. And you gotta love our Asian style recycled Nesquik container that holds our sugar. Yes, that's our sugar. So, okay, so that is the sugar. And we'll put this now over here. And you can use minced or ginger as well, but we're gonna go ahead, because I like it, I think it mixes actually better if you use the powder. So we're gonna go ahead and use, here's our fancy label on the ginger, but we're gonna go ahead and use ginger powder. And for this one here, ginger has a strong taste, strong flavor to it. So you wanna use it very sparingly. So I'm gonna say in this case here, about 1 baby spoon, and this is what I call a baby spoon. It's just a small little spoon, and we're gonna go ahead and mix that in there with the ginger. You just want a little bit, just to add a little subtle taste to it of the ginger, but you don't want it to be too strong. And then next will be the garlic. Now this one too, for some people, you might want to go ahead and put a little less, because I love garlic. I'm going to put a little more in, but you can actually pull back and maybe use a little less than I do. But for me, I like to put in, for 2 pounds worth, about 3 spoons. So 1, 2, and 3. So 3 spoons of garlic. Of our nice, yummy, homemade garlic. And then for salt, this is another ingredient that you just do to taste. But in our case, we're going to go ahead and use, again, what I call the baby spoon. This is a fancy little small Korean spoon. And do 2 baby spoons. So again, for like 1 pound, you would just use like 1 baby spoon. Or less. Again, if you're trying to watch your sodium, you use less. So, but that basically is it for the ingredients. And so now we have all the ingredients in place, and now we're going to go ahead and mix it all up. Okay? Okay, so here is our chicken. It's been marinating now for about 30-40 minutes. And so now it's ready to start to get cooked. So let's go ahead and turn on our range. There it goes. There's a cooperative for a second. And then we're going to put it on about maybe medium-high heat. And we'll just go ahead and this already has oil in it that we've put into the mix before, so it should be good right now without any added oil into the skillets. Again, I like using the iron skillet. And we're going to go ahead and try to take a couple of pieces that are from the bottom here that have more of the sauce on it and just put it into the pan. And it'll take a minute or two, of course, to get the pan heated up. Actually, probably when you're doing it, you might want to go ahead and actually preheat your pan, but in our case, we're dropping it into a pan that's just still heating up. So we've got 3 pieces of the chicken thigh here, and we're going to go ahead and let it cook for a little bit, and then we'll come back and show you as it kind of finishes up in the pan. But we're going to want to brown it really good and give it a nice glaze, kind of a crispy glaze on both sides, before we actually put it onto a plate with rice and some green onions and some sesame seeds. So that's coming up next. Okay, so now we got Bonnie doing the final portion of the cooking. It's been cooking for about maybe 10-15 minutes, and you can see that there's a cover that we put on there because it definitely does a lot of spitting of oil, as I call it. But you can see that after about 15 minutes of cooking there in the iron skillet, again on a medium-high temperature, it's started to brown. And you want some of that browning there, the glazing, helps it to give it really that added flavor of that Korean gochujang sauce. So now we're going to go ahead and grab one of these pieces of chicken. And a lot of times Koreans actually, in lieu of using a knife, we'll use scissors. And cooking scissors, yeah, and it works a lot better actually. It really is an effective way to cut up meats and foods to put on the plate to be served. So there comes the chicken, and we're going to go ahead and put onto the little bed of rice. Again, we're using white and brown rice. This is something that our family likes to use. But so we're going to go ahead and lay the chicken on there. And then the final touches afterwards will be the chopped up green onions and Korean sesame seeds. And that's just kind of the garnish right there, just to kind of give a little bit of that green onion flavor, which goes really, really good with a lot of Asian foods. And this makes it a little more tasty, but also kind of makes it look prettier. And sprinkle some sesame seeds. And it is now ready to eat. And the way I like it is I'd eat it just like that, but I would add sriracha sauce. So actually, honey, if we could grab that sriracha sauce. And while she's grabbing that, I was going to just pan over real quick. Again, this is how the chicken's looking, and it's definitely browning up, and those are ready to go too. But sriracha sauce goes great with a lot of foods, but it's kind of good to kind of just squirt some of that on top of the chicken and the rice. And okay, now I'm going to go ahead, instead of looking at it, I'm going to go ahead and dig in and eat it. So thank you, honey, for another great video.
Okay, bye.